Netflix thinks you're dumb. No, really, they honestly do. They think that you're never paying attention to whatever it is you're watching, so they're gonna do something absolutely ridiculous so you don't miss anything. Like, you could be out in the kitchen and you don't miss something. I know it sounds really ridiculous, Culturians, but I had to get into it. We've got stories coming from multiple sources, N plus one magazine, we've got Joe Blow covering it, and we've also got it on World of Real, and I'm just gonna grab one of those articles and go because apparently you can't be relied on to know what is happening in whatever show or film you're watching. And I think Ted Sarandos is going to laugh at people and consider them dumb until proven otherwise. So let's jump in because Netflix tells writers to have characters announce what they're doing just in case the viewer is busy doing something else, which means they weren't truly engaged in whatever it is you were presenting in the first place. Now, mind you, a lot of binge television is done absently or absent mindedly while people are doing something else, like cleaning the house or putting a puzzle together or whatever. I mean, that's what shows like Friends are good for. You've seen the show a few times, you've binged it multiple times, you kind of know what's happening in the show, and the dialogue just kind of brings it home. You don't really need the characters saying, I'm going for a walk. They just are walking and having a conversation while they are moving down the street. You don't need those kinds of calls to action to let people know what's happening, but it looks like that's actually what's going to be happening. And it's not a true call to action. The TV isn't asking you to do something, they're just telling you what they're going to do. So, according to this article, and again, this one from World of Real, where we've got Jordan Rumi writing another one, saying N1 magazine has a piece up that will surely be making the rounds. Indeed. In fact, I've already taken a look at it myself, and I will have it linked down in the description below, so you don't want to miss that. But while you're also down looking below at the description, do me this small favor. Go ahead and double check to make sure you're still subscribed. It'll take you just a few seconds to take advantage of the free subscription offer and turn the subscribe button to gray. That's right, it's absolutely free. And if you turn on the notification bell, you won't miss anything, whether it be a video or a live stream, which I do a lot of every single week. You might get somewhere between 15 and 30 items every single week from this channel. So take a couple moments, double check you're still subscribed, and let me earn your business. Oh, and while you're down there, hit the thumbs up button as well, and be prepared to comment because I think you're gonna you're gonna have a few on this one. Anyway, Netflix execs have been telling their screenwriters to have characters announce what they're doing, so that viewers who have a program on in the background can follow along without having to miss plot strands. There's barely been any pushback until now. There's barely been any pushback until now. Yeah, I mean, all the writers were going along with it. They were assuming that people weren't really paying attention to what they were providing or what they were showing to an audience. That's not a good sign for something like Netflix, is it? Several screenwriters who have worked for the streamer before are telling the outlet that a common note from company executives is to have characters purposefully, there's the word, lay out exposition to the wandering viewer. After all, focusing your time on a 90-minute movie is certainly not an option for the token Netflix viewer. Really? I thought the whole point of producing entertainment was for it to be enjoyed, preferably in a seated position. I know a lot of us walk around if it's something we've seen before. We use it for background noise or to help us get through the vacuuming or other chores in our household. I know oftentimes I'll be driving listening to a podcast or perhaps even a Netflix film, knowing full well what's actually happening because I've seen it before. But for things that are first time viewing, that's insane. Is that what people were doing with Red One? Is that why people thought it was okay? Because they were telling you what was going on throughout the movie? Can you imagine sitting in a theater with that going on? I don't know. Let me know if you've seen this happen before. I'd like to hear if you've been involved or invested in a program or a film that's been doing this, because I'd like to take a look at it and have examples that I can obviously pay attention to in a future video. So apparently the number one film, The Irish Wish, which is starring Lindsay Lohan, who is definitely at the low part of her career, doing Hallmark style films, and of course, Freakier Friday, and of course, obviously, this Irish Wish thing. It's basically the lower tier of the B listers or C listers at this point. We spent a day together. Loan tells her lover James in Irish Wish, I admit it was a beautiful day filled with dramatic vistas and romantic rain, but that doesn't give you the right to question my life choices. That's really dialogue? Are you kidding me? You basically are canting what happened during a scene previous that people would have already have been familiar with? Wow. Tomorrow I'm marrying Paul Kennedy. Okay. All of this leading up to this moment probably was somewhere else in this film. Fine, he responds. That will be the last you see of me because after this job is over, I'm off to Bolivia to photograph an endangered tree lizard. Wow. I'm not sure I could have survived that dialogue. This would have directly had me pushing the off button on this particular program. And people watched this? Netflix apparently has thousands of micro genres they adhere by in green lighting projects, including casual viewing. Casual viewing. In fact, if you want to go find the name of the N Plus magazine article, it is called Casual Viewing. And that's used for movies, TV that go down best when you're not paying attention. So it's like a radio play. Remember those? I mean, I don't mind a radio play if I'm driving along on the radio. Getting some background wouldn't be too terrible, but doing it with television and doing it in this kind of a structure, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Apparently, almost every screenwriter adheres by the notion of show don't tell. Well, yeah, that's the way you're supposed to do things. That's what storytelling is you show don't tell, at least in a visual medium. If this were an audio play or a radio play, it would be you know, that kind of melodramatic presentation where you had to outline for the non-viewer, for the listener, what was actually happening. But here, Netflix seems to have a spat on the rule and are now forcing their writers to break it and then some. It's almost miraculous that this it was the same streamer who just a few years ago decided to make Roma and The Irishman. Right. And The Irishman was brilliant. Roma, I haven't seen yet. But I'm very curious if we're going to start to see or hear more of this. Does this mean Netflix thinks you're stupid? Do you think that they're okay? It's okay to dumb down your audience? Do they think you aren't really paying attention to whatever it is you pay for in the first place? And if that's true, what else are we going to be able to get subscription fees for if nobody's actually paying attention anyway? That might be the next future business venture for Culture Casino. You guys have any thoughts on that? Let me know. The latest news comes just after it was reported that Netflix was asking its writers and directors to make sure there was enough drama in the movie's first 5 minutes. So that the viewer keeps watching and doesn't turn it off. Sounds like a YouTube video to me. And to be sure that we get enough drama on this channel, understand I'm going to continue to cover these types of stories on the regular, whether it be from Joe Blow or from World of Real. It almost doesn't matter, but there's plenty of drama over on my gaming channel, That Game Place, because let me tell you, there's a bunch of video game stories that are just absolutely off the walls bonkers that you're not going to want to miss. And here's just a real quick look at that N plus one magazine title, Casual Viewing. Go check it out by Will Tavlin. I think it's an entertaining read. It's also kind of a scary one. I don't know if I'm super excited about Netflix deciding that it's okay to dumb down their content so that they can dumb down their audience, or at least reach down to the lowest common denominator. I have a feeling Netflix is going to be so dumbed down that it's going to turn people off, and that'll be a big problem for Netflix and the larger Hollywood at this moment. While they're desperately trying to remain relevant and at least keep the audience's attention, they may have to go back to the tried and true formula of giving audiences what they want. I tell you what they don't want is absolute inane pablum that's pushed on them through a radio play on television. So I'll ask you, fair viewer, is this the kind of entertainment you expect from Netflix or any other streamer? Is this going to be acceptable going forward as basically a radio play being presented in a visual medium? And is that something that you'd be interested in? I'm actually curious because to me, it looks like the dumbing down of entertainment, and maybe to some, it's not quite that harsh. Maybe it's something they've been looking for all their life, and this casual viewing experience is something they've come to enjoy, or maybe will come to enjoy. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below, and let me know if you've seen some of this. As I mentioned before, I'd like to know what other things outside of Irish Wish there is out there that is basically content made like this. And if you found it engaging, I think that's interesting. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya for real.